We will learn how we can expose our local services to the internet without having a static IP. To get started, I need you to change your DNS provider to Cloudflare. Typically, it will be the domain provider that is handling the DNS. But for our use case, we'll be changing that to Cloudflare. Now, the reason for this is that Cloudflare offers free tunnel service and it's honestly better than the other providers out there. So I need you to change your DNS provider to Cloudflare. And once you do that, you can see the DNS records under your domain. All of this will become relevant afterwards. Now, to get started, I need you to go to one.dash.cloudflare.com and under network, I need you to create a tunnel. A tunnel is basically a connection between your computer and its network to Cloudflare. So you might have all these different services at different ports. All this can be mapped to a corresponding subdomain as you wish. Now, under the tunnel type, I need you to select Cloudflare. Give it a fancy name and click Save Tunnel. Now we can choose how we want to run the tunnel. Typically, I prefer using Docker because you have more control over the tunnel and you can create, delete, and modify as you wish. Select Docker. And now you are given this Docker run command. We would actually be using the run command and instead be relying on a compose file. I need you to copy this token. Take the token and head over to the sample.dnb and replace the token with the actual token. Now just simply remove the sample portion and you will end up with an env file. Great. Head over to the Docker Compose and you can see there's a Cloudflare service, npm service, Portainer, Plex, Ulama. If you don't want any of this, you can remove. Just make sure you have Cloudflare and npm with you. Now, heading over to the containers, you can see that Cloudflare is on a network called CF, npm is on CF and services, and any other container will be on services, which means npm will be able to resolve other services using their container names. That is why I've given this fancy name for this container. And similarly for Olama, I've given Olama as a container name for easy resolution. And now, once you have the token filled out, you can simply run docker compose up -t and that will run all these containers in detached mode. Head over to your containers and Cloudflare. They can see if there's an error over here. Do the same for npm and seems that everything is running fine. Great. Now, once you have created a container, I mean the tunnel, you can see the status over here. Status is healthy and uptime is 19 minutes. Now click the drop down, configure, and head over to hostname. Now we will be routing all our traffic through npm, and hence we want two public hostnames for that. one for a domain, which you can see over here, and one for the wildcard, because we'll be running multiple services through npm. So click add a public host name, leave this empty, select the domain, type is http, and the URL is actually the container name colon port. For HTTP, for serving HTTP content through Nginx, we're using 81. I mean 80, we're using 80 for HTTP content. There's also 443, and for the UI, we're using 81. So both of these are for exposing Nginx, and the 81 is for my convenience. So I can either go to localhost 81 or to npm.domain.com. It is the same screen. Now, the first time you log in, you need to log in with the default username password. That is admin at example.com and change me. Once you do, you can change the username, password, and email. Once you have all this done, we can get started to issuing SL certificates. Head over to certificates, add certificate. Let's encrypt. Enter your domain name. Select use a DNS challenge. And the provider, as we said before, is Cloudflare. And we need to enter a token. To get the token, go to your profile. Under EPA tokens, create a token and ensure the permission is set to be edit zone DNS. Copy the token, paste it here, click save. Give it a few minutes and you will have a SL certificate expiring. Now we can use this certificate for our subdomains. And let's say I want to expose npm through nginx. Yeah. So I'll be clicking add proxy host, creating a domain for this, and the certificate will be from the previously created one. Our domain scheme is HTTP. The host name is actually the container name. So it could be something like Plex, Olama, Nginx Proxy Manager. For this, we can simply use Nginx Proxy Manager, and the port is 80 for HTTP.